We interrupt this broadcast with a special bulletin from the MMDTM network. This is happening now. Your premier source for the most intriguing stories from across the globe. We bring you the fascinating stories that you won't want to miss. Steering clear of the political and the grim, our focus is on the intriguing, the uplifting, and the downright interesting. Stay tuned, stay informed, and stay captivated with Happening Now. All right, welcome everyone to Happening Now. This is a new little addition to our show where we are going to bring you recent stories that we found that we really like from around the world. Instead of talking about all of the things that we've been talking about, we're going to do a whole bunch of different kind of sub-segments to our show, add some variety, add some fun.
I'm excited about this.
Me too.
Me too.
I think it's going to keep it interesting. I want our listeners to tell us if you like the new format as we get going, but make sure you listen to all the different shows that we're coming out with on this channel because there's a lot of different stuff. So this first one is called Happening Now. And again, like I said, this is where we found stories or articles or videos or something like that throughout the internet or wherever we were looking.
On the interwebs.
And things that struck us as, I don't know.
Interesting. Funny.
Yeah, funny, sad, whatever it may be. So we didn't talk about these beforehand. No. So these are going to be...
We're going in blind.
Right. We're going to...
It'd be funny if we all had the same story.
Oh, gosh. What if we do? I don't think we might.
I don't think that would ever happen.
No. I don't think so.
I doubt it. Okay. Who wants to start?
Ma?
Sure, I will.
Ma, let's hear what you found.
Okay. So this is inbox news.
Okay.
Somehow you get like subscribed to different things that you don't even subscribe to, but there it is.
Yeah.
And the one that started coming in my inbox is called History Facts, United States History Facts in particular.
Okay.
And every day they link to an article about something interesting that happened in the United States. And yesterday or the day before, there was one about the gas prices in 1950. Were they really cheaper? Okay. And I know that we're always talking about, let's go back in time when gas was cheap.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So back in 1950, the article said that gas was 27 cents a gallon.
Oh, my gosh.
Average over the United States. That sounds really cheap.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
However, the median income in a household back then, median income for the household was $3,300. That's not very much money.
Per year?
Per year.
Oh, my God.
Not a month, per year. So with the rate of inflation and all the stuff that goes, into that, that's as if you're paying $3.52 a gallon for gas.
Well, so it's the same.
So it's pretty much the same.
That's crazy.
Interesting.
And that didn't change throughout that decade. By the time it went through, during the 1950s is when the Korean War was. So there was, effects from that. There was also effects from the fact that that's when the interstate was built. So gas taxes were added on. Median incomes went up.
Yeah.
And by the end of the decade in 1959, it was still only $3. It was 31 cents a gallon, which would equate now to $3.34 in today's dollars.
Yeah, so it's really not that much different.
Right. And that kind of spurred me to go find a calculator. There's these inflation calculators online. And I looked at several things. And like bananas are actually cheaper now than they were back then.
Compared to what people are making?
Right. Compared to what people are making. Some things were, most things are pretty comparable to what it was back then. So we shouldn't be complaining.
Things like bananas, things that are like imported. I don't assume that can we grow bananas here? I don't know. But maybe not bananas, but things that are imported, I would assume that it's a little bit easier to get them here now than as opposed to then because we have technology and
transportation and things like that.
Yeah.
And clothing is actually cheaper now, it said, because most of the clothes now are not made in the United States. They're made out of the country, and unfortunately...
Well, and they're lower quality.
Yeah, they're lower quality, and they make much more... Those people don't make the same amount of money that they were...
So what do we think, then, is leading people to, regardless of their income,
leading them to struggle so much more?
Oh, I don't think it's everything is cheaper or the same. I don't think that. I think
So then what kind of things do you think don't equate? Would we guess? I know I'm not saying you have the answers here.
I don't have the answer to that,
Yeah.
but
What kind
for
of
the
You think
most
like
part,
homes?
yeah.
I feel like homes, you can't afford a home now. I can anyway.
right?
No,
I would bet, and maybe if our listeners know or if we check after this, but I would bet that the average cost of rent is probably higher per income, if like rent, because it seems like there's something, maybe this is an uneducated response here, but it seems like in order for a person to make enough money to pay for their rent
Right.
and the other things such
everything
as their
else.
car payments and things like that, you can't do that on a
Single person.
single income.
Yeah, no. Household.
You've got to have roommates and
Right.
you've got or you
Or a
got to have
partner.
two
And that's
two
funny that
income-
you say that because I did calculate. I know that in 1971, when I was 21 years old, I got an apartment with 3 friends. We paid $150. I think we talked about this before.
we did.
$150 in rent for a furnished apartment. There was 4 of us, but that $150 in 1971 was like $1,300 and some dollars.
Dang.
So we were paying 13, basically what we would feel
Yeah,
like
but
is
how many
1,300.
bedrooms did you have?
Well, we made the living room a bedroom, so
Oh, okay.
it was
So it
actually
was
a
a
2-bedroom
two-bedroom.
place. But there was an extra. The way it was built, it was old, and there was a way all the rooms went off of a foyer, like
Sure.
a center thing. So we just made the living room into another bedroom. So,
Yeah, I would be curious though to know what sort of things are not and why it doesn't seem
I
to
think
go as
healthcare
far.
is a big thing.
Healthcare is a
Oh,
big
gosh,
I
thing.
mean,
yeah.
back then when I was working, it was provided for free, and it was good health care.
Right.
So I think healthcare is a big one.
Yeah,
that really
because
cuts
I
in.
mean, I don't know about you, but like the healthcare, my healthcare is like really close to like $1,000 a month.
That's what I'm saying.
That's insane.
So I
That's a
think
big
healthcare is a
chunk of our
big chunk.
paycheck,
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. So yeah,
And to take into consideration,
insurance is also.
I think, well, yeah, and the availability of decent housing and things like that as well. Things are
Right.
going to fluctuate depending on what part of town you are, what's the
Right.
quality of the housing. We talked about that.
Right,
I
right.
think one of our other episodes as well, where if I take in the average cost of rent across the United States,
It's gonna differ.
it's going to differ. I
Way
mean,
different.
and I would, again, I'm not looking at the stats in front of me, but I would bet there's a lot more on the lower end than there is on the higher end.
Right.
And so that's going to throw
That's gonna
off
skew it.
those-
Right. Well, and this article even indicated that about the gasoline is that overall over the United States, the average gas is around $3.34 a gallon or whatever. But then you go to California, it's over $4.
more.
True.
So there's your
Yeah.
regional differences. You're going to have
Yeah.
that regional difference no matter what. Yeah.
Yep. And everything is going to
Sure.
fluctuate just like gas does.
Yep.
So, okay.
Interesting.
So that was mine.
No, that's interesting.
Yeah,
thought it
I
was.
like that.
So I'm going to go complaining about the price of
Yeah,
gas.
no kidding. No kidding.
It still is up.
It's still,
but
yep.
so is technically if
Everything.
It's just going to be an expense. It's always going to be there, and we got to
Yeah.
figure out how to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Lauren, what you got?
All right, mine. I'm going to take it down a little bit.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about the article that I found is one about a figure that played a fairly big role in my childhood and young adulthood.
Okay.
And that is Shelley Duvall.
Oh, I
Rest in
know.
peace.
Yes.
Rest in peace, Shelley Duvall. I found this article. It is from the Vulture. It's vulture.com, New York Vulture. And it says it's called Shelley Duvall Stood Out. No one looked like her, no one sounded like her, no one thought like her, and everyone in Hollywood knew it. And it's a really nice article about her. I like to try and I'd like to try and stay away from the whole Stanley Kubrick thing. He was I don't know how that all went down, but there's a lot of talk about how he treated her during the filming of The
Shining.
Shining,
Yeah, I read a
and
little
that
bit
kind of
about
broke her a little bit. But I'd like to kind of focus on the fact that that she kind of was this cult heroine for weirdos and misfits and kooky people. I just think she's so different, and she's so, but she kind of took that and ran with it. And she didn't need, while she did really well in Hollywood, she didn't need that. It says in this article that she was an avid reader, and that was part of the reason why she wanted to do fairy tale theater. And that to me was like a very big part of my childhood.
I remember that. You
I
loved it so
loved
much.
that
Yeah.
so much. I watched it all the time.
I always remember
loved,
Princess and the Pea.
yeah,
That was
Liza
my favorite
Minnelli was in
one.
it.
Yeah.
There was there was for those of you not watching, you should definitely watch because Jeff's doing some crazy things with his legs right now.
But that was from one of those. Was it
It's
Princess and the Pea?
and the
Yeah.
Pea. The prince, I can't remember who played the prince, but yes. I wish I had that clip pulled up.
I might be able to
But
put it in our video.
That would be so fun if you did. But also her depiction of olive oil. I think
great.
I read a couple different articles about her life, and I can't remember if it's this exact article or if it's a different one, but they said she goes down in history as one of the most spot on depictions of a cartoon character.
Yeah.
Like you can, I mean, that's
so
like
you-
Christopher Reeves as Superman. Like
Right.
it's
Well, that's Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man.
Yes, and
Like,
that's
you
exactly
can't
it.
imagine someone else doing that role more justice.
that's what,
Shelley Duvall was to olive oil.
Yeah.
absolutely. And that's what was that guy's name? Robert Altman. He was the one that directed that, and he said that her not being in that film as olive oil was a deal breaker. He would not go forward with it if she wasn't in it.
Yeah.
And so I just thought that was really interesting. And she just was so, I think 2002 was when she kind of became a little bit of a recluse, and I know she had some mental health issues, and she struggled with diabetes, but she kind of, people are like, well, she let herself go and all this, and no, she lived her life. She had land and a partner of 40 years that they just went out and did their thing with their animals and their, and she didn't care what anybody thought about her. And when they found her, and she was on Dr. Phil and all that stuff, like she was like, man, I'm just living my life. I'm a normal person. I'm just
Trying to
doing
do
my thing.
Yeah.
Just like
You know?
anyone else.
But then she came back last year and filmed her last film was a horror film. And I don't think it comes out until October. And I'm excited to see it because I don't know how much of a role she played in it. But yeah, I just thought, she's just such a, not only fairy tale theater, but Mother Goose Rock and Rhyme.
I was waiting.
Oh gosh, I loved that so much. She's
So do
the
I.
best Bo Peep.
Yep.
The best Bo
Do you
Peep.
remember that our probably bootlegged copy of that started like a couple minutes into the film? So we never got to watch
We
like,
never
the
saw the
beginning of
beginning
it.
of
Where
it.
did you get that?
I'm sure somebody taped it off
Taped
the
it off,
TV
yeah.
or something.
Oh, wow.
The VCR recorder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there was commercials in it.
Yep. Yeah, there definitely was. I just
TV.
and one other thing that I wanted to kind of mention was like all of the huge. She had no budget for those, and she produced both of those things: Fairy Tale Theater and Mother Goose Rock and Rhyme.
Well, that's
And
cool.
she did not have a budget, but my God, did
They
she
turn out cool.
Well, not only that, but she got all of the big names of the day
Yeah, she
to
did.
do it.
Yeah, she
Liza
did.
Minnelli.
Little Richard.
Yeah, Little
who
Richard,
else was in that?
ZZ Top.
Yep.
I mean, the list just is
Yeah.
incredibly.
Can you still see that? Online? Is it still streaming anywhere? Do you know?
I'll bet you it's on YouTube.
I
think.
I don't know. I looked it up. You can't like stream it anywhere technically, but I don't know if it's on YouTube or not.
I'll bet you it is.
At least
Probably.
clips from it is probably on there,
Yeah.
even if they weren't full episodes.
Right.
I wanted to look and see because I know it does. She has Tim Burton directing some of the fairy tale theater, at least one. Robin Williams was in it. Liza Minnelli. Let's see. There's so many different ones, but there was Jeff Bridges. Billy Crystal, Jeff Goldblum. I'm just trying to find like the really big names that she had. Francis Ford Coppola, Tim Burton, Roger Vadim. I don't know who that is. A bunch of different directors that helped out. Mick Jagger was on one of them.
I want to see that one.
It was let's see. I don't know which one it was. Remember Puss in Boots? The Puss in Boots one? I actually saved a picture because I wanted to show it to you so that you could be like, memory unlocked. Are you ready?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I remember that.
Oh, funny.
Show me again.
Isn't that crazy?
Weird.
And then very last thing, I thought this was the coolest thing. I don't know. I should have written down the artist, but I thought this was the coolest picture
Oh yeah, that's
of her.
neat.
It's like she reminds me of that patchwork girl
Yeah, she
Scraps.
does.
of Oz.
I thought of
whatever.
her when you showed that.
Yeah.
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 I did think of her. I thought that was
Yeah.
cool.
But
Cool.
anyways, I think Shelley Duvall is one of the coolest.
Yep. Rest in peace,
So,
Shelley Duvall.
R.I.P.
Yep.
Thanks for all that you've done to
Yeah.
the
Thanks for the memes.
entertainment industry. All right, you guys ready for my
Yeah.
Yes.
happening now?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to show you an image. Well, it's a moving image.
Okay.
Oh.
And then I'm going to explain it. Okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Oh my gosh.
What the heck is that?
Okay.
I hate
Okay.
that. That
Everybody
makes
seeing
me
it?
so
So
uncomfortable.
if you're not watching on video, there is a what looks like a pink like goo with eyes, and
Sort
it's
of like
kind
an
of
egg.
Killer.
yeah, and it's sort of smiling.
Circular.
Okay, kind of
Looks like a
making a
face.
smiling motion. A robot gets a face of living skin that allows it to smile.
Oh,
So
that's disgusting.
this is robotics now.
Stop.
So let's see. This Professor Shoji Takuchi.
Somebody Japanese?
Yes, I believe so. They managed to replicate human appearance to some extent by creating a face with the same surface material and structure as humans.
It doesn't look like that. Looks like a tongue.
Right, but this is where they're starting. They've identified new challenges such as the necessity for surface wrinkles and a thicker epidermis to achieve a more human-like appearance. The approach promises to make robots more lifelike, and in the future, the researchers say similar techniques could also be used on humans for recreating skin and other things like that.
Oh, so like skin grafts.
Cosmetics, plastic surgery, things like that.
Wow. Okay.
So they
Scary.
publish these reports in Cell Reports Physical Science. I'm going to show you another picture of a 3D facial mold covered with living skin.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Right.
That looks better.
So they're
Oh,
creating...
that looks better than the other pink thing.
Yeah,
Right.
I can see a good use for that. But
Right.
Yeah.
So this article says to overlay and connect the lab-produced skin on a robotic skeleton, a layer of collagen gel containing cultured human dermal fibroblasts, which is a type of connective tissue cell, binds to an innovative system of tiny V-shaped perforations in the surface, letting the skin move with the underlying structure without tearing or peeling. The work of muscles creating a smile and other motions is done by actuators.
Wow.
So let's see. In this study that they're doing, this research that they're doing on robotics, self-healing is a big deal to them. Some chemical-based materials can be made to heal themselves, but they require triggers such as heat, pressure, or other signals, and they also do not proliferate like cells. Biological skin repairs minor lacerations as ours does, and nerves and other skin organs can be added for use in sensing and so on. So this person is saying that they want the robots to be able to heal and self-repair because
Scary.
even small scratches could develop into serious impairments.
Yeah.
They become more realistic with thicker skin. Future projects could look to add sensors, pores, and even sweat glands and fat into these robots.
Why would
So then they
need
have to shower because I
sweat?
have BO.
Right.
Yeah, and then they're gonna short circuit.
Right.
Sure
BO.
don't.
Ew.
It's called
It
RO.
smells like it just smells like
RO, not BO.
motor oil.
Right. So basically it's saying if humanoid robots make you queasy, would it help if they had fleshy faces that could
If
smile
they
at you?
look
It could be
like
even
you.
weird.
No, that's like Stepford Wives.
What does this make you think or feel when you hear about this like humanoid robots?
What does it make me think of?
Do you think? Well, I guess
Makes
just
me
what's
think of Stepford Wives. Yes.
is that?
It's very Twilight Zoney. It's kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool, but
it excites me a little bit,
Yeah.
even though there's a small piece of it that's scary.
yeah.
Maybe a big piece of it that's scary
Yeah.
because all of the things that we've seen in a million different movies. When what happens when the robots are made to only
To be smarter
Yeah.
than the
right.
humans.
Well, and they will. I mean,
And they are
They
already.
are. They are.
Yep.
So if a robot decides,
Like Megan.
right, if a robot decides, hey, my programming is to do what's good for the human race. Well, the worst thing for the human race are humans. So my programming is to
rid
eliminate
of
them,
you.
right?
Well, that
Yeah.
So
sounds
we're
like it's
Terminator,
already,
right?
That's already been written.
Right. Well, it has, and
Yep, it's coming true.
That's Terminator and everything. So if you're, Lauren, in one of our episodes, you mentioned not being able to tell. Sometimes you have to check really carefully if something's an AI image. If you have to be careful, is that a human talking to me or a
Or an
robot?
AI.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
That could be
Right.
creepy.
Yeah, because I mean, you
got
got to think about it. Like, people are still out there living their lives. So, like, people in the dating pool. If you're on Tinder and you're like going to meet your Tinder date, and all of a sudden you're like, "Gosh, is that? I can't
Are
really
they
tell.
real?
Are they
Is
a
this a
robot?
real
is this
person?
a robot? Or
Yeah,
is
tell
it a
me about your
human?
life. How long
Right.
have you been alive?
But he'd probably have like a
backstory.
backstory, programmed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Memories and everything. I mean,
they
does
can
it make a difference? I don't know at this point. I mean,
This-
if they've got
So
skin
then can
and
they
sweat and everything else,
Right.
what?
Can they reproduce?
I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah. I mean, if you can make it regenerate and heal
Sweat.
itself, why couldn't you make it?
And if it can
If it
sweat,
can excrete, it can excrete.
Ugh.
I'm
Oh, like,
sorry.
So
You
I
can bleep out
really-
the word excrete if you want.
I really like this technology for the idea of if I were a soldier in combat and I lose my hand and I can have
Right.
a robotic hand that has all of this nanotechnology and these human like ligaments and this real skin where I can even hook it up to my nerves
Right.
so that I can feel again, and now I can articulate my hand and I have my fine motor skills and it feels and looks
And
like a
people
hand.
don't know the difference. They're
Yeah.
not looking at you like you're disabled or
Right.
well, and the
Or
same thing
even
for
if
like
they-
burn patients.
Yes.
And, yeah. Where
That's where I was
terrible
going
burn.
next. Was
Yeah.
If skin grafts, if
Yeah.
I can go to a 3D printer and make human skin essentially,
yeah.
and
that would grow with the child.
Yes.
I mean, if it's a child and it's a small child and
me-
the skin grows.
Yeah,
to
that's
me
cool.
that is
Yeah, and that's always the way
Awesome.
it is, though. It's like, okay, for medical purposes, for tragedies, for war, for things like that, it's good. But then it ends up getting used in really weird,
Yeah, or
off-the-wall
people,
ways that are
or
gonna-
it's way too expensive for
Yeah.
normal people to be
Right.
able. I said normal people, but you know what I mean, like
yeah.
Yeah.
the
the
average
working
person.
class people to
Right.
be able to utilize it, or I mean, because we're paying $1,000 for health insurance, but they probably
it-
won't
not
cover
gonna
that.
cover that. No,
Not the
No.
newest
not.
technology.
I
you know.
can't even get a wig made out of
Right.
human skin if I lose my hair.
yeah.
Or human skin.
Human hair.
Human hair.
Human hair. I would have to
Would
pay.
you rather have hair for teeth or teeth for hair?
Huh?
I'd
I
rather
don't
have
know.
teeth for hair.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Anyway, I thought that was interesting, and this image is just
Yeah, it's so
It looks like a tongue.
weird.
It looks.
does.
It's awful.
It looks
And
like
it looks like the top of an icky Cupcake.
Yeah. Or like
That's his name, Icky Cupcake.
Ew, gross. No, I feel like it looks kind of like, that slime stuff that
Yeah.
the kids make, the goo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but
You
it's
know,
smiling
Silly
at you.
putty, sort of
It's
shiny.
weird.
Yep. Anyway, so
Cool.
that was fun. Thanks,
Yeah, it
guys.
was fun.
Yeah.
If you, our listeners, have any stories or good things that happened or interesting things that you want to share, you should reach out to us. Send it to our email address. That email address is...
My mama done told me podcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, or you can get onto our social medias. You can find all of links to all of those in our
Showy noise.
show notes. Thank you all for listening to Happening Now on MMDTM radio station.
Yeah.
MMDTM radio. My
Radio
mama
on
done-
your dial.
turn your dial. Don't touch that dial. We'll be
I thought you were talking to me. I was like, oh, am I not supposed
Oh, sorry. Anyway, we hope you keep your minds open and be kind to each other. Until next time, for our next happening now or episode or whatever may come next. So tune in. Okay. Bye, everybody. Love you.
Goodbye.
Say I love you.
I love you. I love you. Can everybody hear me okay?
Mhm.
Is my mic okay?
Okay. Oh, my God, okay.
Hey, Mom, you know what I thought of when we were reading the thing? You can't do the...
Oh, yeah, don't
Oh.
read along with it.
I might.
You
I
can't.
might. Sometimes I can't help it.
Well,
If
you're
I-
going to have to move your microphone.
I'll have to,
I put my hand over my mouth.
just read with
'Cause
your
I have
eyes.
to read. Okay, we'll see.